I've introduced myself to the art of getting angry at Dark Souls for a little while now, having dabbled in all 3 games in that godforsaken trilogy. So of course, I had to make a review of the bosses eventually, because once you start playing these hellish, overbearing science experiments, there's no going back. You decide to start playing the Souls trilogy, next thing you know you're up to your neck in frustration juice. This is my take on every boss from the original, the classic, Dark Souls Remastered. Oh my god, this is so exciting, actually. I'm actually really interested in this game now. The mean green fighting machine known as the Asylum Demon is an okay tutorial boss that's effective at getting a scare out of new players and showing them how the plunging attack works. On returning playthroughs, these aspects of the fight lose their appeal, and gameplay-wise, it's never been anything special or impressive. It's a baby's first Dark Souls boss that even my grandmother could fumble her way through. The arena is wide open, and the From Software version of the Green Goblin is large in size, making it easy to hit in addition to slow attack speed to make him even more abusable. Just stand behind him and cut away at his asshole the whole fight. At least I can fondly reflect on what my first time fighting possessed Yoda was like. Oh, what the fuck? Wait, what? Wait, I can't go back? Oh my god, what's happening? Are you serious? Wait, I actually have to fight this guy?
What the fuck?
I'd say this big-capped buffalo is a nice little step up from the Asylum Demon, as the fight against the Taurus version is more unforgiving in its design. The bridge you fight on is small and narrow, and the ram that got jacked up on steroids after surviving the slaughterhouse is faster than his lazy, stubby-legged fat friend, and hits harder. The archers on top of the entrance tower can make the fight trickier if you keep them alive. You can use this tower to perform the plunging attack again to deal good damage, or wait for him to come to you and get a great demon axe to the face in a larger space. Bars. Once you get the hang of it, it's not any more difficult than slashing at my cousin in her Dark Souls Remastered form, but this fight has a few factors that I find interesting and can still appreciate even on returning playthroughs. Also, the bridge has an opening in the middle that can cause the bumbling goober to accidentally jump backwards into the abyss with the 4 kings below and kill himself, which I didn't even know could happen until I watched Mr. Taurus's impeccable Olympic jump unfold during Mars's Let's Play of the game, and it was fucking hilarious.
Is that normal?
Do me a favor, sit back, relax, and close your eyes. Just listen to the sound of my voice. Go on a time travel adventure back to 5th grade. You're young, hyperactive, and bursting with potential. You can't pay attention in class because that horse-faced teacher of yours is babbling on about some miserable and barbaric era in your history textbook that you know you're gonna log away as soon as you walk out the door to go to lunch. Nostalgic, right? I know that feeling all too well when I plumb the depths of my past. So when it dawned on me that Mrs. Bornschein was one of the biggest mega bitches I've ever had the displeasure of being taught by in my academic years, I knew I had to make this comparison. I swear I wasn't one of those kids that wrote beyond the margin during that writing workshop. The Bell Gargoyles kick ass. Their pack-in wide-ranged halberd swings and their ability to fly and breathe fire. Yes, I said there, because after a certain amount of time you have to fight 2 of them at once. This may seem overwhelming, but their attacks are slow and you can use the slant of the roof to your advantage to make dodging their halberd swings easier. Also, the second gargoyle doesn't have a full health bar like the first one and breathes fire that's easy to spot and avoid. For the most part. With all of that being said, however, they're no pushover by any means, because one wrong move... Oh shit! Oh, I never fought both of them at the same time! Come on! Go! Ah! Hello. Ah! No! Come on! No! Fuck! And you get your ass kicked. One of the better fights in the game. It was worth the rage. 11 out of 10, I love it. Okay, time for absolute hell. The Capra Demon is the easiest boss in the whole game. The incredibly generous arena and laughably weak dogs barely make this fight more of a challenge. Garbage, and kill the dog. Oh no, didn't want to kill him? Okay. The coked out homeless guy with the bull skull on his head has very slow attacks that don't even one-hit kill you. Can I just hit the dog? Come on! So be as careless and happy-go-lucky as you want. Hit him! Hit the dog! Hit the dog! Hit the dog! It really goes to show that a dedicated team of video game designers can really make something amazing if they put their minds to it. Oh my god! So yeah, I mean, you know, overall, pretty enjoyable actually. Okay, wait, hold on a second, just hold on, just give me a second. You actually thought I was serious? This is unequivocally the worst fight in the game, hands down. You are shoved into the smallest boss arena in the game with not only the Capra Demon, but two of the most irritating self-harm inducing enemies in the Dark Souls universe, anally raping you hard and raw from every conceivable angle as soon as you make the unforgivable, unretractable mistake of stepping through the fog door. The most well-known strategy is hauling ass up the stairs onto the ledge to give yourself even the smallest chance of taking out the dogs, but even that doesn't work because if you have a big weapon that swings on a curve, chances are it's going to bounce off the wall when you start mercilessly mashing left click. And by the way, every time you die, you have to run this testicle-crushing gauntlet of enemies again. It's unbelievable how the people that made this game were able to manage going from near perfection in the beginning to downright irredeemable garbage when you get to this fight and this area. If you can find some way to take the Hellhounds out of the picture, the Capra douche isn't that difficult to fight on his own. He deals high damage, especially when it comes to his two-handed swipe and jump attack, but his sword swings are slow and are not too bad to dodge. You can use the plunging attack from the ledge or fight him on the ground. And bullshit like this makes the shit sandwich even more repulsive than it already is. So yeah, I mean, you know, overall, this fight and the area leading up to it is doo-doo butter trash and everyone knows it. Sniff my scrotum, annoying mutts.
So I said, what that is? She looked at me. She said, I ain't even gonna cap.
Oh, hell no.
I said, nope.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting visually and mechanically, the Gaping Dragon is one of the most underwhelming bosses in the game for me. While he does have a massive health bar and quite the intimidating size for this early in the game, he doesn't put up much of an effort to munch on the player's innards. He slams his upper half down to make himself look scary, stops, walks in the direction he's facing, turns around, slams down again, ad nauseum. Mr. Holy Shit, that's a lot of fucking teeth has other moves, like a tail and hand swipe and a giant leap of faith to wherever you're standing, but he doesn't do them that often to make his butchering session more memorable or exciting. He can also come all over the ground to release his secret sauces that can break down your equipment, but it's easy to spot him climaxing and it's not hard to avoid either. Just like the archers and the Taurus demon, if you don't kill the wizard on your way to the boss, be careful about where and when you strike, as getting shot in the face by a Kamehameha can knock you back worse than Simon Belmont in Castlevania and give the creepy crawler an opportunity to take a chunk out of your undead flesh. Another thing that annoys me about this victim of dragon incest is that the fucker's whole body turns into a hitbox when he's walking, which can kill you, which is bullshit.
Holy shit, the hand hit me for a second. Alright, he's pretty much done now. Are you fucking kidding me?
Although the Gaping Dragon is a good mascot for his hometown of the depths, in my opinion, he is, ironically enough, all bark and no bite.
Oh, I really have to get going. You know, back home.
Everyone's favorite Chaos Witch not only turns out to be quite the formidable foe, but also has the nicest pair of what appears to be double Ds in the game, and holy shit, I need to get laid. It may seem like the fight is on the easier side after noticing the large arena with no debris or obstacles blocking your path, but this bad spider bitch has got a few tricks up her tits to make things not so straightforward. Miss Longlegs will be constantly spitting out lava to limit your space, forcing you to navigate around the boiling vomit instead of charging in cocks or strap-ons blazing. She can also play Leap Spider towards you, which terrified the erection out of me as you just witnessed. Stomp to make fire, cut the cheese to make fire, and explode all over you, so make sure you're ready to receive it. No pause. But that's not all, ladies and gents, because the larger fire-induced version of the common insect that I wouldn't dream of touching with a 10-foot pole is not the only one packing heat. Quelaag herself wields her signature Fury Sword to try and decapitate you in a straight line or on a curve. I've never found them too difficult to juke, but I still don't take that thing lightly, because I know how badass that blade is. Believe me, I've ran a train on the whole game with it. After multiple playthroughs, the battle with Quelaag really grew on me, and now I consider it, along with her rack and official Pornhub ad, to be one of my favorites in the game. The Iron Golem, on the other hand, is the worst boss in the entire... Okay, maybe he's not that bad, but he's definitely middle of the road. While I do enjoy the design of the giant tin can and the surrounding area known as Sen's Fortress, I'm of the opinion that this boss is arguably easier than most of the ones I've talked about so far, like the Taurus Demon, for a few reasons. The arena is fairly sized, the golem's axe swipes, hand slam and grab, feet stomps, and wind-style vacuum blast are not hard to avoid, and you can even knock the damn thing over the edge if you stack enough damage to one of its legs in a short time frame. Even if you don't manage to do this, you can quickly drain most of his health, and by this point in your Lordran Odyssey, you can easily have a weapon upgraded to +9, so it's basically putting a kitten up against a lion. You can keep the giant alive in the tower next to the boss arena, but that's not a very good idea. The burnt, jumbo-sized gobstoppers will most likely knock you off first before the Iron Golem will get the chance to, and turns the fight into the complete polar opposite direction, going from too simple to unreasonable. Actually, upon further inspection, it's not that big of a deal because you can just run to where the Iron Golem is standing and fight him over there. The fatty in the tower can't throw the firebombs that far. The visuals are strong here, and it's okay from a mechanical perspective. I don't love this one, but I definitely don't hate it either. Anor Londo, City of the Gods, with all of the detailed, intricate architecture, breathtaking environments, accompanied by everlasting sunlight and other voluptuous eye candy, it confidently cements itself as the best area from the main game. The mighty kingdom is home to a myriad of powerful enemies like the Sentinels, Silver Knights, and Batwing demons, and for good reason. The daughter of Lord Gwyn and Princess of Anor Londo, Guinevere, stays atop the cathedral in the center of the city with the Lord Vessel in her possession, which was to be given to the chosen undead, destined to succeed her father. So when he has an invaluable artifact that would ensure the continuation of his Age of Fire, you would think that before fleeing to rekindle the first flame, Gwyn would put someone extremely powerful in charge of protecting it. And holy shit, did Gwyn choose wisely. Well, my PTSD is kicking in again. The iconic duo from the original Dark Souls are some of the hardest hitters in the archaic wasteland of Lordran that guard Princess Guinevere and her Lord Vessel of Anor Londo, combining forces and performing a shocking and horrifying fusion dance to create the most overwhelming, bombastic, rage-inducing fight in the entire game. And it is fucking fantastic. Dragonslayer Ornstein and Executioner Smell are, without a single doubt in my mind, the best boss fight in Dark Souls Remastered. They demonstrate just how well crafted a multi-boss fight can be, both having a deadly set of attacks that define the term difficulty spike, blowing every boss fight before them out of the water. They also always manage to keep you on the edge of your seat, regardless if you are new to the game or coming back to it. Ornstein moves faster, brandishing a spear that he uses to stab, swing, and shoot lightning that tracks you for a brief moment. And not to mention that cheap-ass fucking dash attack, over and over and over again! Smaug moves much slower, but hits just as hard with his Great Hammer, while also having a butt slam and charge attack that I still get caught by quite a few times when I go up against them. The goal is to focus all of your attacks at one of them and making sure the other isn't getting in the way. It's not about throwing powerful haymakers as quickly as you can, but tossing in one or two jabs here and there, then keeping your guard up. No matter which one you choose to take out first, you have to keep your eyes on both of them and make sure you are treating them as equal threats. And that's why this fight is so good. Most of the bosses before ONS have you running in all willy-nilly faster than Leroy Jenkins, and before you know it, the fight ends in the blink of an eye.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
begins.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
The Gaping Dragon and Iron Golem being prime examples of this, as you are able to dish out great amounts of damage in such a short time, and attack windows are on the longer end of the spectrum. But here, Ornstein and Smough pimp slap the fucking shit out of you, as if to say,
We run the show now, bitch.
no more hand-holding, be a big chosen undead and practice being patient, actually think about where and when you're going on the offensive and dodging, study and learn our attack patterns, and we hate to piss in your cornflakes and shit in your scrambled eggs, but you're not as good as you think you are. So while you're busy eating a slice of our famous humble pie, look at us like the cops from The Hangover, because we see assholes like you every day. Oh, I forgot to mention that there's a second stage to this whole debacle. Yes, I'm getting this information right, and no, I'm not kidding. If all of this weren't enough, when one of the Titanium Titans falls, the other will regain full health and a move from the deceased. Ornstein will have the ability to use Smough's Butt Slam with electric damage added in, and Smough's Great Hammer becomes charged with lightning that could rival the generator in Zekrom's tail with an even more powerful Butt Slam. And to top it all off, the grand triumphant score in the background is guaranteed to leave a wet spot in the trousers of even the most professional of Dark Souls players. Absolutely spectacular, best fight in the game. Welcome to Rolling and Blocking City, baby. The whole encounter with this illuminated irritant involves moving to a spot where a projectile is not and slapping it silly when it needs to recharge. The Cyan rockets can come out in singles or come together to form a homing missile, both being easy to not get hit by, and they don't do a lot of damage either. Every now and then, you'll most likely catch a giant cabbage bomb to the face that's impossible to avoid. At least for me. I always get hit by this move when it does get fired at my Dark Souls meat, but it's whatever. The Moonlight Butterfly is a nice little optional boss that does its job, even though it's nothing crazy mechanics-wise. Oh, God. Ugh, my heart can't take this shit anymore. The Great Grey Wolf Sif really knows how to put on the hurt with her greatsword and is able to tug on your heartstrings as if she were your own pet. She's kicking your ass from overhead, side to side, backwards, 360 degrees, and the occasional charge attack. Her windups are unnatural, and the animations are delayed just a little bit to punish early rolls to the point where I continue to find it tricky to get the dodge timings down pat during rematches. Needless to say, she's got shit covered. Even though you can exploit her size and get in close to avoid her sword swings, it's not the easiest thing to accomplish. Sif is surprisingly quick and will be jumping circles around you to make herself harder to pin down. Another unique aspect of this fight is when Sif reaches low health, she will start to limp and she struggles to swing her sword. Don't try and hide your tears, you coward. I see everything. There's no denying that the themes of the previous bosses thus far have been good, but Sif's melancholy tune is one of my favorites. All in all, it's a good battle that I get more of a kick out of compared to most of the others in the game. Despite being a solid physical challenge, it's even more effective from an emotional standpoint, having an important backstory that deserves more than a simple mention. Sif was the companion of one of Gwyn's 4 greatest knights, Artorias. She fought alongside him to prevent the spread of the Abyss and rescue the Princess of Ulasil, unfortunately failing to do so. They were eventually overwhelmed by the enemies they faced, including the Father of the Abyss himself, Manus. Sensing the end was near, Artorias made the ultimate sacrifice to save his friend, and used his cleansing great shield to cast a protective barrier around Sif, you being the one to free her after traveling to the past. You can even summon her in the fight with Manus afterward, as if her old master was never consumed by the Abyss. It's a perfect and equally satisfying way to define poetic justice, freeing Artorias' partner and battling by her side, defeating Manus and saving Ulasil and Princess Dusk in the process, finishing what the legendary Abyss Walker started. In the end, Artorias and Sif do complete their mission, with you fighting on his behalf. An absolutely beautiful touch to the lore that the Artorias of the Abyss DLC adds to Dark Souls Remastered. But that's not all. If you save Sif before fighting her in the Darkroot Garden, an alternate cutscene will play prior to the fight and she will actually remember you. After recognizing your scent, she begins to whimper, showing reluctance to do any harm. As you reach out to touch her, Sif lets out a somber howl and slowly walks towards her greatsword, because even though in her eyes you are the hero who rescued her from the same darkness that you both valiantly put an end to all those centuries ago, she could never forget and bestow the love and loyalty she has to the man she's been with through thick and thin, who sacrificed himself to protect her. Sif has an undying responsibility to maintain Artorias' legacy and prevent anyone else from suffering the same fate he did. And even if it's the one person that she doesn't want to kill or be killed by, she will stop at nothing to see her duties through. It's okay. You can still keep your masculinity if you bawled your eyes out during my bonfire story. It may not have been as good compared to the Vati Vidya edition, but I think Uncle Squiddy painted quite the pretty picture. Despite not being over the top when it comes to the gameplay, the battle with Sif is one of the most memorable in not just the original Dark Souls, but in the entire series. The silent storytelling is nothing short of amazing, and it's some of the best and most powerful that Dark Souls has to offer. Okay, let me get back to the funny stuff before I start crying. Again.
Are you fucking for real? What the fuck happened there? I killed them.
It's not just 4 kings. Okay, it's more than just 4 kings. There's like 5 kings. There's 6 kings. You fucking lied to me. The gothic, oddball-looking inhabitants of New Londo put up a fast-paced endurance-testing challenge that never fails to get your blood pumping. The 4 kings are nothing to mess with, dishing out crazy strong sword swings with even greater range to match. They can easily catch you with their huge explosion, draining grab that sucks the life force from your already dead body, and they can even make you circle the arena like a Looney Tunes character when you notice that there's a half moon chasing you. It seems difficult to overcome at first, but the saving grace has to do with their swords. The closer you are to the hilt of the sword, the less damage the sword will deal. And eventually, more kings will spawn in after a certain amount of time to try and overwhelm you, so the trick is to play aggressive and take them out as quickly as you can. It's really intense and quickly lures you into a sense of panic and keeps you there throughout the whole battle. Adding more to this feeling of distress is where the fight takes place. In the Abyss itself, you're fighting in complete blackness, as if trapped in a nightmare, or wandering the Mystery Zone after glitching out Jubilife City to locate Arceus at the Hall of Origin. It's an appropriate and fitting setting to enhance the already great fight with the step-siblings of Dracula. Dope shit all around, I like this one.
Who art thou? One of us thou art not. Plunge down if thou seek thine desire.
The crossbreed of Seath the Scaleless resides in the painted world of Ariamis and only turns hostile if you do so first. Priscilla has quite the wide horizontal range with her beefy scythe in rapid single swings or 1-2 combos, and she turns invisible at the start of the fight, forcing you to locate her by tracking her footprints in the snow, being revealed after landing a few hits on her. She can even throw out fairy dust that deals a large amount of magic damage and is difficult to block. Unfortunately, you most likely won't even see it happen, because even after all that I just mentioned, Priscilla can be defeated in just a few hits, sporting not the biggest of health bars. The arena is also one of the more tiny ones with nothing to work around, making the fight even easier. It's not bad and definitely could be worse. I just wish that it had more to offer instead of being another small-scale optional boss like the Moonlight Butterfly.
Halt, hear the voice of mine self, Gwendolyn, and kneel before me.
No!
Another secret boss of Anor Londo is in the same realm as Priscilla, being more on the low-key side in its design. Gwendolyn is the master of illusions, guarding his father's tomb and fooling you into thinking the sun is still shining over the ancient city. You chase Gwendolyn down a never-ending hallway using the large pillars to your advantage to protect yourself against the barrage of arrows and giant death laser that can somehow hit you through the pillars. Bullshit. After catching up to him 2 or 3 times, he gets put down faster than he can say, "An eternal curse upon thee." There's not much more to it than that. It has the creepy atmosphere and presentation, but another pushover that you can even damage when he's not even in your view, strangely enough. Alright, show's over, pack it up, let's move on to the next boss. The fight against Gravelord Nito kicks me in the cock and suckles on my sack in the worst way possible. Whoa, hold up, what are we doing, folks? What? You really thought I would just lounge back and let you do my boy Pinwheel like that? Oh, come on, is it that big of a deal if I skip it? Hold on, stop the tape, I'm sorry, real quick. Thank you. This is actually causing a disturbance in you, huh? Yeah, it is. He's an official member of the Dark Souls cast and deserves his just due. I don't care what you think of him or the fight, you are going to give this man Pinwheel a proper review. Pinwheel. Oh, so you think this is a pinwheel, huh? No, this pathetic excuse for a boss is more like a poor man's version of a Scooby-Doo villain. How about if Pablo, Tyrone, and Austin of the Backyardigans decided they belonged to the streets? Or maybe it became a Marvel superhero reject getting beat out by the likes of Snowflake and Safe Space? Or what if... Okay, chill. I get the point. I respect the roasting session, and to a certain extent, I agree with you. But deep down, you know what you have to do. What does your brother say? Gots to see it through, my boy. Yup. God damn it. Just get it over with. Alright, fine. I'll review the pinwheel for you. You happy? Yes, very happy indeed, thank you very much. Alrighty then, fantastic. Let's rewind the tape now. If you thought Priscilla and Gwendolyn were easy to beat, allow me to introduce you to the same enemy that people say Germa985 actually lost to on stream, Pinwheel. He can fly, create duplicates of himself, and he utilizes magic for his attacks. You would think he kicks ass, but it's quite the opposite, as a whopping 4 to 5 hits will kill him and make you start to question why he was even made into a boss in the first place. The skeleton-infested study quarters of the unwashed bedsheet is enticing, but Pinwheel is the complete and utter laughingstock of the Dark Souls trilogy. See? That wasn't so hard now, was it? Yeah. Just be careful if I ever decide to barge into one of your videos. You're playing a dangerous game, Squiddy. You won't win. Keep on talking that bullshit on your way out the door. Excuse him. I really wasn't lying when I said that about Nito earlier. Okay, other than the atrocious knife attack, the whole package itself is not as bad as I've heard people say. It's a balancing act between fighting the garbage pile of skeletons with abnormally large human legs and making sure the other bony systems of small and bigger sizes don't raise your annoyance meter to astronomical levels and throw your attacks off. Nito can even damage them himself with his sword swipes and AoE scream, giving you a chance to get some hits in on him before they respawn. The skeletons add a nice increase in difficulty without being cheap. You know what is cheap? The drop into the arena will more than likely deplete half of your health, so you better make sure to kindle the nearest bonfire to the max. As I've showed off earlier, Nito's sword that comes up from the ground can be a real pain in the urethra to avoid. It's his favorite attack in his arsenal, and he really wants you to know that, because he likes to spam this move constantly. One thing I'm grateful for in this fight is that you can let Nito come to you at the start of the battle and lock his attention in that area, which doesn't trigger the big skeletons in the back, making the fight much easier. Many players are of the opinion that this is their least favorite fight in the game, and while it's not one of my personal favorites, it definitely deserves more credit than nonsense like this for the mechanics and the surrounding area, as you fight Nito in a large pit in the Tomb of Giants. Yeah, I forgot that I have to record this part. Yeah, I just rushed all the way over to Seath, and now... Oh, he's right! Wait, what? Why is there a crab here? Oh, I'm gonna die. The first encounter with Seath is in a deceptively small room where it's impossible to damage him. And that's the point. You are intended to lose to him here, being placed in a jail cell in a separate part of the archives. It's another spooky moment that catches you even more off guard than the Asylum Demon. But after an obnoxious boss run through a crystal hollow Trident Wizard library and a cave with invisible floors and killer clams that sit outside the non-existent boss door, Seath the Scaleless is not all that impressive when it comes to the actual fight. He does have a good backstory, but the gameplay is nothing special. Improving the mechanics would have made this one of the best dragon fights in the trilogy. I hope you like hacking away at dragon tendrils and a big fat exploitable ice belly, because that's all this fight consists of. There's not a whole lot of thought or strategy going into it. Since the naked dragon is so huge, it's a struggle to get out of his crystal attacks most of the time since he takes up the entire cave. The only things to watch out for is the curse the rising crystal attack can lay on you, and Seath will start flailing his tails around violently if you try to get behind him, which you wouldn't even bother doing damage there anyway, other than to get the Moonlight Greatsword. But other than that, there's not anything else to worry about. It's a shame that one of the key characters that helped bring down the Ancient Dragons ends up with such an unremarkable fight. I guess that's what keeping your immortality a secret does to your fighting skills.
Damn, what a poor soul that guy is. Let's piss him off. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, come here, you fucking lazy cow. Holy shit! You'd think he'd be one of... Oh, I forgot he can do that.
Another grotesque beast from the Lordrain underbelly that gets plenty of Mother's homemade gingerbread-flavored lore cookies with vanilla icing on top, but has a surprisingly short battle that ends faster than my chicken choking sessions. And that's how you know this boss goes down quick. The Ceaseless Discharge is the actual easiest fight in the game, as picking up the gold-hemmed black set will aggro the boss, allowing you to lure him back to the fog door. He'll jump at you like he's going to do something, but ends up getting his hand stuck in the netherrack, and then he dies in 5 hits. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm also not kidding when I say that it takes longer and more effort to piss him off than run back to the fog door than it does to drain his health bar. There are other methods to kill him, but they really don't make the fight any more difficult. With that being said, however, I have not attempted these strategies, so take this criticism with a grain of salt. Other than that, there's not much else to say. It's whatever. Okay, so you remember the first boss I talked about called the Asylum Demon? Well, what if I told you that it's possible to fight his big brother? Well, I don't know, Grandpa Squiddy, is it? Is it possible? Yes. Yes, it is. The Stray Demon is a reskin of the Asylum Demon with a magic You Shall Not Pass explosion added to his moveset to make himself feel more relevant than his weaker original version. It's a nice little secret for new players, but again, like the clumsy dumbass who dropped the one ring that prevents him from wanting to off himself, Mr. Stray is just there. At least you get a free Titanite slab out of it. My only real complaint is that I hope they don't even think about making a reskin of the Stray Demon with a slight variation. Oh god damn it! As if it could not get any lazier, the Demon Fire Sage is a reskin of the Stray Demon on fire. His moves are an exact copy of the previous clone, so basically it's the same goddamn fight again, but with a head slamming on my desk hitbox that I can rarely ever avoid. Ugh. What else to say? What else to say? I'm going off script and I'm struggling to find things to say about this motherfucker. Yeah, hold on to your hats and clutch your genitalia because there's another demon incoming. The good news is that it's better than the previous two. You face off against the Centipede Demon in his very own lava-filled playpen, fighting on a small piece of land, causing a feeling of unease knowing that you don't have plenty of room to move around. This limited space doesn't feel unfair like fighting the Capra Demon, and the spastic movements and intimidating size of the Centipede itself complements the area you fight on. He's got a standard set of attacks like stomps, jumps, a grab, and the occasional spontaneous combusting giant fireball that admittedly looks gorgeous, and scores for huge damage too. It's not the most difficult or mechanically impressive fight in the world, but I can't hate the Centipede Demon too much because of the overall atmosphere of the Demon Ruins and his crazy all over the place movements. Need I say more? I have no words to describe the stupidity of this fight. I know the Bed of Chaos is objectively the worst boss in the game by a country mile, but you are not actually fighting anything but your quickly rising anger levels and the hand swipes. Oh god, the hand swipes. Which is why I confidently give that mantle of the worst fight to the Capra Demon, because as poorly designed as it is, you have a sword and so does the other guy, and you tear at each other's existence. The Witch of Izalith is more like a slot machine. Just mindlessly hop on the water slide with no water and hoping you get lucky. You have to run to both sides, killing the Daughters of Chaos first, who die in one hit, mind you, getting ruthlessly assaulted from start to finish with no break in sight as the floor breaks from under you, and then jump to the middle to get under the Bed of Chaos, only to be greeted by a common housefly that dies in, surprise surprise, one hit. And every single time you die, you have to equip the damn lava ring and run F-Zero Captain Falcon style back to the boss. There are definitely more revolting boss runs out there in the rest of the trilogy, but it doesn't change the fact that this is still a hefty amount of salt in the wound. I deck myself out in Havel's armor and his big ass rock shield every time, even if I don't have the required parameters. As expected, it works like a charm. And no, I don't feel guilty about it. The only ones that should feel guilty are the ones who put this abhorrent abomination in the game. While it's true that I am getting frustrated trying to articulate the thoughts to convey my disgust with this monstrous maniac, at the same time, I don't even care. It's so funny.
This is by far the most lazy, poorly designed, rushed boss I've ever seen in a video game, but that does not mean we cannot make it fun. Jesus Christ.
Shut it off. Shut the fucking music off.
I'm dead. I feel it in my soul. God damn it. Oh! I'm dead. Fucking Christ almighty, I don't even know what's happening. Whatever oh!
But make no mistake, when the creative developer of the game apologizes to the fans for this cataclysmic catastrophe, you know something has gone terribly wrong. What an absolutely despicable way to close out the worst area from the first game. The Sanctuary Guardian is the Manticore of the Dark Souls world, and he kicks off the Artorias of the Abyss DLC on such a strong note, being a thrilling beast battle filled with lightning orbs and quick swipes of the paws and horns in addition to his tail that can cause poison. He can also create a mini tidal wave that can damn near knock you over to shield himself from the player attacking from the front. Not to mention that the Sanctuary Guardian is incredibly agile, as he will always be flying around and looming over you to assert his dominance. The spectacle of this fight is intimidating and aesthetically pleasing, only made better by the speed and strength of the Guardian, giving you little room to breathe. Come to think of it, that explains all of the bosses you meet throughout the Royal Wood in Ulasil, which is why it's such a breath of fresh air compared to most of the easier, more exploitable bosses from the main game. Opportunities for healing are brief, but at least the arena is wide open with no obstacles blocking your way. The Sanctuary Guardian is more than a worthy opponent, putting up a great fight that does its job well.
I beg of thee, whatever thou art, stay away. Soon, I will be consumed. By them, by the dark, it must be stopped. Sif, there you are. All of you. Forgive me.
Well, fuck. Another fan favorite of the original Dark Souls alongside Ornstein and Smough, Artorias easily makes for one of the best fights in the game and is one of the greatest and most tragic figures the series has ever known. He can jump in the air and Hulk smash on the way down, swing his greatsword on a curve or charge straight ahead, throw Abyss, and even summon it to increase the power of his attacks. The gameplay side of things is very well done, and the fight never gets old. Seeing what happened to one of Gwyn's greatest knights is a real kick in the balls, as Artorias is fighting with his now cursed greatsword that's damaged and cracked. He's missing his cleansing great shield, and he even got the Sasuke treatment as his arm is broken, like it's being held on by a string. But regardless of all of that, Artorias' speed is unmatched and hits like a goddamn wrecking ball, even with one arm. I've already gone over the legend behind Artorias when I talked about Sif, but the man's legacy and strength of character cannot be understated. Using all the might he can muster, he courageously sacrificed his well-being to preserve the Age of Fire in one final swan song of a mission to exterminate the Abyss and its ruler. And although he failed in achieving what he set out to accomplish, with your help as the chosen undead, he was still able to leave a positive mark in history, one that would inspire many others ages later to take after him and his great Grey Wolf and follow in their footsteps. Though Artorias is your enemy in the heat of the moment, you can't help but feel bad for him, wanting to do nothing but put him out of his misery, where he'll hopefully rejoice with his unwavering comrade. Rest in peace, you selfless brave soul.
Thou must be the one who freed Artorias. An old friend he was. Thanks to thee, he left this world with honor intact.
I'm just gonna kick this guy's ass. Fuck! Come on! Fucking asshole!
The Black Dragon Calamite is one tough son of a bitch. He marks the first proper dragon boss fight and is also one of the best up to this point. Calamite is huge, but he is far from abusable. He can fly, swing his tail and claws to cover blind spots, and breathe fire horizontally, vertically, and basically everywhere that you are. Yeah. It's that hardcore. He also has a grab attack, pretending he's gonna give you a big fat sloppy kiss, but really ends up draining your HP and puts a curse on you that causes you to take double the amount of all damage for a period of time. What distinguishes Calamite from your typical dragon of his size is the fact that he's so fast, heightening the difficulty more than expected. Even though I spent a thick amount of time getting my chosen undead skin cooked the first time I went up against this menace, I've grown to respect the beast much more over time, and I cannot deny that this fight is one of the better slobber knockers in the game for sure. Manus is like a toddler having a temper tantrum after getting told no before being dragged out of a Toys R Us, because he's always up in your face, he's always screaming, and he throws and stomps his fists on every square inch of your being to get what he wants. Going up against this bastard is fucking insane. He doesn't leave you alone for 1 second, pretending to be Thomas the Tank Engine on all fours with swiping and slamming fists in your general vicinity to give you a good close-up of his horrifyingly untrimmed charcoal-like fingernails. Santa's reject gangster reindeer has a seemingly unavoidable combo of punches that you are more than likely to get locked into. Even if you see the attack coming, go fuck yourself, you're not fast enough to avoid it. Not only that, but he also has varied magic attacks in his trap house of horrors that can be ducked easier by using the silver pendant found behind an illusionary wall in the Ulusil township. Apparently. I don't know, I'm just going off of what I've heard from other people because I've actually never used it due to laziness, and I really don't want to keep switching back and forth between my Estus flask and the pendant. So I end up just tanking the dark shits instead, but it's an interesting twist that adds another layer of Jesus Christ, I regret coming down here to the fight. After multiple playthroughs, I still struggle to beat Manus in a timely fashion. This gameplay that I recorded for him is almost 10 minutes in length, because like I mentioned earlier when I talked about the Sanctuary Guardian, the bipolar difficulty that the DLC bosses provide pick up the slack where most of the bosses from the main game are either underwhelming or downright jokes. Manus is a prime example of what a Dark Souls boss is supposed to be like. Do harm and take no shit. An amazing way to end a great piece of downloadable content. After a long, tumultuous journey, it all ends here. The kiln of the first flame is the final destination for the chosen undead, and one more obstacle stands in their way. After fighting the remaining Black Knights that guard the kiln and its vessel, you would expect to engage in your most extreme, high-caliber battle yet, considering all of the enemies you've had to conquer in order to get to this moment. Demons and dragons, knights and lords, small and large, weak and strong, single and multiple, and everything in between. You've searched far and wide, going through hell and back to obtain the souls necessary to get stronger and open the sealed door at the Firelink altar. Gravelord Nito, the Witch of Izalith, and Seath the Scaleless did not take down the ancient dragons on their own, as they needed another one of their fellow lords to harness the power of lightning to peel apart the dragon's impenetrable scales. Gwyn, along with his knights, were the powerhouse behind the whole operation. He made it all work, tearing the dragons apart limb from limb. There is no way that he's not the strongest lord of the group. However, as it turns out, your last challenge is the weakest link that holds the chain of the Age of Fire together, being an even more withered husk than the apocalyptic, deserted ending area itself. at the heart of the Kiln of the First Flame, a final battle between a lord, holder of the Light Soul, and a human, ancestor of the Furtive Pygmy, holder of the Dark Soul. The previous Lord of Sunlight, now Lord of Cinder, caps off the Dark Souls Remastered experience, being one of the more faster and aggressive enemies you've come across thus far, giving you very little room to breathe, similar to Manus. Boasting his flaming Great Lord Greatsword, Gwyn cuts deep, with sword swings having a wide range as well as stabs that deal massive amounts of fire damage. He can leap at you in an instant to catch you by surprise, and he also has a grab attack to push you back in a fiery explosion. It's another fight that's grown on me, but it did take a while to learn and get used to, especially since the fire effect on his greatsword is so bright and distracting, making the blade harder to find than my dad. Oh yeah, by the way, asshole, you still owe me 2 decades in the fatherhood department, so get your lazy, worthless, unambitious ass back from your extended smoke break vacation in Costa Rica. Sorry, back on track. Point being, it's hard to tell if you're going to get hit or not and when you should or shouldn't be rolling. While Gwyn makes for a decent fight mechanically, narratively is where it really shines, as there is so much at stake for the story and the characters. Gwyn has sacrificed everything, from his knights to his kingdom, and even himself in a last-ditch attempt in order to keep the Age of Fire alive. He's gone completely hollow from having the first flame burning in him for so long, which is put on full display by the fact that Gwyn is the only boss in the entire game that can be parried. It showcases how pathetic and weak he has become and how desperate he is to keep the power and control of the world in his possession out of fear of the inevitable darkness that will consume all that he holds dear. Furthermore, Gwyn is ultimately seen as a reflection of what the player will turn into in time if they link the fire, an empty shell of their former self, being nothing more than a slave to a stranger's cause. It goes to show that even the ones considered lords and gods in the Dark Souls universe are just as temporary as anyone else. The Witch of Izalith tried to recreate the first flame to replace the original one, being made into a demon and spawning a wide variety of them in the process. Seath locked himself away out of paranoia that the other lords would come for his secret of immortality, but we as the chosen undead break the crystal in one simple mouse click that allows the albino dragon to remain everlasting. Even the Lord of the Dead himself most likely got his ass ate like groceries by some punk that shares a similar diet to Smaug by the time the third game rolls around. These are the punishments one endures for not accepting the truth of life that nothing lasts forever. All of this is being told without uttering a single word, with one of the best boss themes I've ever heard playing in the background. I've played it in the intro to this video, but it was sped up. What you just heard was the original version. I personally prefer a lot of the themes in Dark Souls when they're played at a faster pace, but Gwyn's is one of the very few that I enjoy listening to, both normal and fast. It's the icing on this Gwyn Lord of Cinder themed cake that doesn't try to be overly dramatic, but rather serves as one last silent cry from the land of Lordran, one of the best bosses ever, only made better by the choice you are presented with after Gwyn's defeat. In the end, you can either link the fire or walk away from it. Do you reignite the flame, becoming a Lord of Cinder and keep the Age of Fire going at the expense of yourself? Or do you let the flame die out?
Don't let the flame die out!
Give up fighting the inevitable and usher in the Age of Man with you as its Dark Lord. No matter what you go with, it really doesn't matter in the grander scheme of things, so choose whatever you prefer. To me, the decision is obvious. Add insult to injury by shoving in that darkness after all the bullshit that these bosses put you through. I will never forget the overwhelming amount of satisfaction I felt after beating Gwyn and concluding Dark Souls for the first time. I was proud of myself that I had persevered. The suffering was over, and I never had to relive this nightmare again. Until a few days later when I started a new game, and then another new game after that one, and again, so on and so forth. A few months passed, and here I am with Dark Souls cemented in my heart and soul as being one of my undisputed favorite video games of all time. And I have a feeling that I'll be slaying a lot of bosses, raging at them just as much, and traveling down these Lordran roads an immeasurable amount of times over the rest of my life, until the fire in me ceases to burn. So I guess the real canonical ending of Dark Souls holds true for all of us as well. One day, the flames will fade, and only dark will remain.
Are you alone? Play a free porn game that makes you come in 40 seconds.